Hello and welcome. Today I'm going to start talking about another series of videos in the month of April. And the first one that I have selected is on overthinking. This is something that a lot of students as well as professionals experience while their day-to-day life. So why what can we do to manage overthinking is what I will be covering in today's session. I'll give you 10 different ways or strategies to manage overthinking and live a happy and peaceful life. So let's get started. I want to start with this quote by Marcus. What it says is, more is lost by indecision than wrong decision. And overthinking is something that causes this indecisiveness. We always think whether we should do something or we should not do something, and we think about it over a long time, which is what overthinking is. And this causes this indecision is worse than making a wrong decision. So making a timely decision is very essential when you are when as one of the ways to manage overthinking. So what you should do is you should limit the time or the amount of time you spend on decision making to avoid over analyzing. You can set yourself a limit that I'm going to spend maybe 1 day, 2 days, depending upon the decision that you have to make, maybe a week or a month. But that's it. You have to define or kind of decide that how much time you're going to allocate for that decision to be taken. And once you have done that, once you have taken the decision, you can stop thinking about it. So overthinking actually happens because you are constantly, or your mind is always thinking about, what should I do? I have still not decided. I need to take this decision. But once the decision is made, your mind is free. It is liberated from that one decision that has to be done. Say, for example, you want to buy a new laptop, right? There are so many options in the market to buy a laptop. And if you were to decide, if you were to compare each and every feature, each and every aspect of two different, three different, 10 different laptops, it is going to take large amount of time. So what you need to do, or what you should do, is you give it a fixed time, right? Say, I will spend 1 week, and at the end of that time, I will click that buy button, or I'll go to the shop and pick up the laptop. So by putting a deadline for yourself, you are in a way managing your overthinking, right? So try doing that. Keep a time limit on when you should make a decision. And this time limit can vary depending upon the decision that you have to make, right? This is just one example of a laptop, but you need to make decisions daily, right? So if you can decide that, okay, I have to make this and this decision by this and this time, after that time you have at least finished that, taking that decision, and that thing that you are thinking about is gone. You have emptied your brain, emptied your mind from at least that one activity of making that decision. Okay, so that is the first strategy I would recommend. Next, I like this quote by Naval Ravikant, and if you have read his book, if not, you should read. I have it here, The Almanac of Naval Ravikant. It's a very nice book. And in this book, Naval talks about two things. One, he talks about how to make money, how to be rich, how to get the maximum worth of your skills or of your value, right? And the second thing he talks about is how to be at peace, how to be relaxed, how to manage your life in a uh, peaceful and a calm way. So that comes down to managing how you can control your mind. If you can control your mind, your overthinking will be managed. So if you think about mindfulness and meditation as another approach to managing overthinking, I think this will be very helpful for you because it helps you to keep keeps you in the present. You don't have to think about what has happened in the past, or you don't have to think about what will happen in the future, because neither of those two things are under your control, right? What is in your control is now, is what it is, the present is what is under your control. So try and explore, or try and do some mindful meditation to manage when you are feeling, when you think that you are, overthinking too much. So what could you do? For every 10 minutes a day, sit down and focus on your breath when you're distracted by repetitive or anxious thoughts. It's very simple. I mean, even if you can do it now, just close your eyes and take a deep breath and see how satisfying and how relaxing it feels. Right? Let us all close our eyes and take a deep breath. Just repeat it for a few times, and you will feel the difference that it makes right then and there. Slowly open your eyes and see how you feel. That few moments, you kind of got yourself out of all the thoughts that were bothering you. Those few moments were completely yours. You could just be in sync with your breath, and you could feel the air going in and the air coming out. So practice this. Is very simple, and especially when you're feeling uneasy because of overthinking, this will be really helpful. Next is a quote by Graham. Life is about choices. Some we regret, some we are proud of. We are what we choose to be. So that word choose is very important, because we decide whether we what we want to do, right? In case of overthinking, it is your choice. Either you can just stop thinking about it and go on with your life, or you keep overthinking about whatever it may be that is concerning you. So this this very philosophy, this very concept of being in control of your actions, of your life, is very important to manage overthinking, right? So here I would suggest that, in case, another way is, when you're experiencing this form of overthinking, you can distract yourself, do something different than what you are doing when you are overthinking. For example, if you are working on something and you feel you cannot make a decision, you're thinking too much, you cannot come up to a conclusion, just take a break. Maybe do something that you like. Follow your hobby. If it is playing music, if it is listening to music, or doing some painting, whatever you like, gardening, do that. Distract yourself for a while and get immersed in that activity, whatever you're doing. For example, for me, I like gardening a lot. So whenever I am kind of just tired, or just feel like I need a break, I will just go and do gardening. And that time that I spent in my garden is completely peaceful, is relaxed. I don't have any other thoughts. I'm just looking at my plants and I'm thinking, what is it that I can do to make them happy as well. I talk to them and say, how are you feeling, are you all right? This kind of any activity that makes you stop thinking, you should do. Let's say, for example, you're overthinking about a work project that you are doing at night, and you cannot focus because of this, and there is nothing that you can do at that time. Just take a break, distract yourself, do something else, and then move on. Nelson Mandela once said, May your choices reflect your hopes, not your fears. And this overthinking actually happens or often happens because of the fear of uncertainty. See, whenever you have to make a decision, it is on many occasions, it is the situation itself is uncertain and you do not know the outcome of your decision, whether it would be good or whether it would be bad. So it is uncertain. So managing uncertainty is also a way to deal with overthinking. So what you can do is you can embrace uncertainty, right? I mean, you cannot control it. So the best thing that you can do is acknowledge that you cannot control everything, and uncertainty is part and parcel of your life. So just embrace it, and whenever you're feeling like this, then just realize that whatever you can do is there's only so much that you can do, and the rest you have to leave it up uh, to nature or to life. So let's say, for example, if you have just applied for a job and you're eagerly waiting for the outcome of the job, maybe you really like this job, or maybe you have submitted a research paper to a very top journal in your field, and you're eagerly waiting to know what is the result of that the review, or maybe it's an assignment that you have submitted as a student, and you're just looking forward to you know knowing how much you scored on that in that assignment. No matter what the situation is, there is, in all the three cases here, there is an element of uncertainty. And if you are stuck to that and you're overthinking because of that, there is nothing that can be done, right? It is not that because you're overthinking you will suddenly know the results. Maybe the recruiter will call you and say, oh, because you're overthinking, I'm calling you to tell you that you have been successful in the job. It's not going to happen, right, that way. So you have to realize that if there are some uncertainties in the decision that you have to make, you have to trust that you have taken the decision in the best possible manner given the information that you have had at that particular time. That's it. Once that is done, just move on with that thought. This is another nice quote by Professor Salam, and the quote is, "We are our decisions." And isn't that so true? See, whatever we are at the moment in our life is a result of all the decisions that we have taken in the past. So if you have taken good decisions, you'll be very successful in your life. And if you have taken some wrong decisions or bad decisions which you didn't know that time when you took the decision, then it will be reflected in who you are or where you are. So this is very important to understand, that the decisions that we take, the thoughts that we have in our mind when we are taking these decisions are very important. So don't just rush to decisions or analyze your decisions without sufficient thought. So thinking is very important here. And what I suggest is you have to challenge your thoughts. Sometimes negative thoughts may come and question. You may question that, oh, why am I thinking like this? Why is it that these negative thoughts are coming to me, and that is resulting in me overthinking, right? So challenge your negative thoughts by questioning their validity, whether it really makes sense to think the way you are thinking or not. Just as simple as that. And seek alternatives. Look at the positive side of the situation that you are in. So don't always judge yourself or your worth based upon the situation you are facing at that moment. For example, if you are in a team meeting, right? Say you suggest an idea to your team, and they think about it, and then they say they do not accept your idea, right? Then question why they did not accept your idea, rather than thinking that your idea was not bad and you are not competent or you're not worth. Don't go on that tangent. The question here is, the way you should look at it is, you made an idea, you came up with an idea, you gave that idea to your team, and maybe there are others in the team as well, they also gave some other ideas, and collectively the team decided, looking at all the ideas, maybe this idea works best in the current situation that you are in. right? That doesn't mean that your idea was wrong, or your idea was not good, or you're not worth. So remember that, because this is the origin or the start of overthinking. You will start overthinking. Why didn't they choose my idea? My idea was so really nice. It was the best idea. Why didn't they choose it? Why did they choose somebody else's idea? See, this is what is happening in your mind. Your thought process. You have to be in control of your mind. You have to be in control of your thoughts. So challenge your thoughts. Don't let the thoughts drive you in a direction that is not fruitful. There is no value that will be coming out from that action. So think about what you are thinking. Think about this line. Think about what you are thinking, because what you think may result in overthinking. You have to keep this in mind. This is a very nice line, and quote me on this. I don't think I have taken this from anywhere else. Think about what you are thinking. All right. So in continuation of that, it may be that you gave that idea, it was not accepted, but at least be happy that you took the courage to give an idea. Yeah, because you tried. Don't consider it as a failure just because your idea was not selected. If there are 10 people making 10 different ideas and only one of them has to be selected, doesn't mean that the other 9 are failures, right? So that is again a wrong line of thinking. Yeah. So whenever you are thinking, whenever you feel like you're going into that way of overthinking, just bring your thoughts back, compose them, be in control, and think, is that really necessary? I mean, is that really make sense? Why am I thinking like that? Get in control, manage your thoughts. Don't let them wander everywhere, because that is a problem. You get so many thoughts every day, and your mind is a finite machine. Your brain is a finite machine, right? It only has so much that it can handle. If you let it go behind everything that comes to your mind, you're wasting the valuable resource that you have. Yeah. So keep this in mind. Manage, think what you're thinking. Okay. Paul says decision is a risk rooted in the courage of being free. See, read that again. Decision, to make a decision, is a risk, and that risk is rooted in the courage. So you need to have the courage to make that decision, because if you want to be free or become free of that situation where you are in, or it could be making a decision, or it could be just being free in your life without any burdens. It could be all that. So what you need to think about here is, you need to be solution focused. Just thinking is not going to bring you any solution, right? Overthinking is not going to solve the problem. You are just thinking. It's all going in your mind. You are not actually considering what is the situation and how can you solve the situation, but you are thinking and thinking and thinking and letting your thoughts go wild in all different directions, rather than focusing all your attention, all your energy in solving the problem or making the decision that you have to make. And sometimes if this decision has to be made, or this task has to be completed, you can always break it down into small manageable chunks and then do one thing at a time, so that you are progressing towards making that decision. So always be in that solution focused mindset rather than problem focused mindset. Because if you have a problem and if you're just thinking about the problem, you're not making any progress, right? So you have to be solution driven. You have to come up with a solution to the problem that you're facing, or to the decision that you have to make. How to do this? I gave an example just now. You break down any task that you have to complete in smaller, manageable pieces, and make a plan, make a schedule to finish that task. Next is, you have to ask yourself at every moment, is this necessary? And Marcus has really made this point very clear. ask yourself at every moment, is this necessary? Because these days we are bombarded with so much information from everywhere, especially on social media. If you're active on social media, you get so much information daily. The moment you open up any app, the feed or the page, the wall on your app, there'll be so much information, a lot of which is really not relevant to you, and sometimes it is purely crap. So you have to be at guards. You have to guard your mind, you have to guard your brain on what you're letting in. Yeah. Listen to this again. You have to be at guard. Maybe just imagine that your brain has a door and you are there with a lock and a key. You are only opening the lock and letting some information come in if you think it is worthy of your time and your mind. You have to have a filter here. Don't let anything that you see enter your mind. Your mind, like I said earlier on today as well, that it is a finite machine. Your brain has a finite capacity. If you think about it like a hard disk has a capacity. Same way, your brain has a capacity. And if you start filling it with a lot of unnecessary information, you're only making it difficult for it to focus on something that is relevant and useful. Okay, so keep in mind that managing information is at the core of this problem of overthinking. If you have manageable information and you can manage that very nicely, a lot of these overthinking problems will not exist, will just disappear. So limit your exposure to excessive information to prevent decision paralysis. If you have getting, say for example, again, the example that I gave at the start of buying a laptop, if you are letting like hundreds of sources of information coming to you to help you decide, you're actually making the process of decision making very difficult for yourself, because now you have to analyze so many different sources, right? Maybe if initially if it was only 3 or 4 websites to compare, you would have made a decision. But now if you have to kind of analyze 20-25 websites, it is going to take long time. And another thing here you have to also remember is, what is the value of your time? How much time are you spending on analyzing all this information, making up a decision? So the value of the decision, if you think about a dollar value that you can put on the time that you are spending on making a decision, you will quickly realize how much time you should spend to make that decision. So if, for example, if the laptop costs $1,500 and your hourly rate, if you're working, is say $40 or $50 an hour, if you're spending 10 hours doing research, it is actually costing you $500, right? For a product that is $1,500. So like 30% of the product value you have spent on doing research, which you could have used otherwise to either work or to use for some other task, right? So overthinking also has a financial figure around it. So the time that you spend overthinking could be used for something else productive that could earn you some more living. You could make some more money. So keep this in mind. Very important to remember or understand this concept of the dollar value of decision making. This is just another example, so we can skip this. Okay, the next is a quote by Wissam Fawzi. The quality of your life is built on the quality of your decisions. So true, isn't it? The whatever decisions you take in your life, that determines your quality of life. Yeah. So even in the example that I just now gave earlier about how much time you're spending on making a decision. So if you're spending 5 hours making a decision, that decision is costing you $500 or at least $250. Yeah, depending upon how much you earn per hour. So when you consider that, you have to be very mindful that you have to allocate specific amount of time for a specific decision to be made. And these good quality decisions, when you make it in a timely manner, it reflects in your overall quality of life, right? So you have to also take time to appreciate what you have in your life because of the good decisions that you have taken in the past. So if you are at this moment experiencing overthinking, you should feel you should feel you have to have gratitude, to realize what you already have rather than what you do not have. So don't you have to shift your focus from worries to appreciation. Appreciate what you already have in your life. And the moment you're thinking, you're in this zone of overthinking, practice gratitude. Realize that this is, realize your life, realize what you have achieved already in this, in your life so far, and appreciate that. And that will take you away from that overthinking phase. What you could do is, at the end of each day, write down three things that you're thankful of. This can help you shift your focus from what's worrying to what's going well in your life. Take this step every day. Just write three things at the end of the day, just before you go to sleep, and have those things in your mind when you sleep. So you appreciate that you have a nice house to live, you have a good job, you have a nice family, whatever it may be. Those three things that you have, write that and appreciate that you have those things, and you are so better off by having those things. So when you think about these positive things in your mind, you will get rid of this overthinking bubble. Because in the end, what you need to do is to kind of make a decision in the end, right? And once you have decided, you are out of that overthinking zone, because whatever you are thinking of is done. It is, you have overcome, you have finished that task. Truly successful decision making relies on a balance between deliberate and instinctive thinking. So if you struggle with decision making, I think you can always seek professional help. And as you build upon this skill of taking a decision, I mean, decision making can be a challenging task for a lot of people. So you have to understand that although it is a challenging task, it is a skill that can be acquired. And this skill of decision making is a very important skill. Say, for example, you are a CEO of a big company. Your one decision can mean millions of dollars of profit or millions of dollars of loss. So being able to take that decision without overthinking too much, but having the right information to make that decision, it's something it's a skill. And this skill is acquired over a period of time, over a long time. But you can also acquire this skill by getting professional help. You could ask experts to guide you in the decision making process, so that you're just for your mental well-being. You have to be very mindful that this overthinking is not becoming a problem for you from your mental health perspective. So seek a professional support, say from health professionals, if you think decision making is becoming a mentally challenging job for you or task for you. Or if you want to look at the positive side of it, you're thinking that decision making is difficult for you, why not upskill yourself? So why not learn how to make a decision and seek the professional support, professional help, to help you in managing this challenge that you have. Lastly, a quote from Tony Robbins: "Stay committed to your decisions." Yeah, it's very important. Stay committed to your decisions, but stay flexible in your approach. So if you have decided something, don't change the decision because you cannot make it work, but rather change your approach and try different ways to achieve what you have decided. So if your decision is to do something, figure out, have a plan A. If the plan A doesn't work, change your approach, go to plan B, plan C, and so on. But don't change your objective. You don't change your main decision that you have taken just because it is not working. So one way to do that is to manage to have a proper routine. So if you set up a daily routine for us, any specific thing that you want to do in your life, you know even making a decision, so have a proper routine for managing this situation, managing overthinking thing. Because if you have a daily routine, there is a sense of predictability and stability. If you do this, this will happen. If you do this, this will happen. And that routine, that direction that it gives you, it will reduce your tendency to overthink. Yeah. So keep a routine, have a routine in your life whenever you are experiencing this. And it is see, these strategies that I have suggested you in today's session, I will just recap them. So these are 10 different ways in which you can manage overthinking, right? You can take timely decisions so that you're not hanging in that situation of indecisiveness. Have mindful presence. Think about the impact of your decision. Take time, relax, be calm, and decide what you need to do. Engage or do something different, to kind of distract yourself when you are in this phase. Embrace uncertainty is very important, because you know that there is certain things that are in your control and certain things that are not. So you have to accept that. Remember, look at what you're thinking. Think what you're thinking, like what I said. So thought analysis is very important, and so is being solution focused. Yeah. So if you solve the problem, that part is just gone, right? If you may be thinking about the problem, overthinking about the problem, it is only going to make it worse. But if you solve it, if you have a solution focused approach, you have just finished one task, you have just finished one thing that was bothering you, right? Similarly, information management, practicing gratitude, seeking professional support, and even following a structured routine, these are some of the strategies that you should start following if you always go into this phase of overthinking. Because it is wasting your time, to be frank. I mean, that is my personal opinion. And anything that is not productive or efficient, you should take on some strategies or actions to resolve it. And these are the 10 steps that I would suggest for you to consider. All right, that is all for today's webinar. And remember that it is always possible to overcome overthinking. And it starts with taking one small step at a time. I have given you 10 steps in the previous slide. So you can start with 1, start with 2, start with 3. Accept or try all these different strategies or these steps to help you manage overthinking. All right, so that is all. This video is sponsored by SciSpace. It is AI-based software platform for researchers. So if you want to stop overthinking and start performing, then check out typeset.io. Thank you very much. It was a great pleasure to have you all join my sessions. Tomorrow I'm going to be talking about creativity. Right? Creativity at job, at work, at during studies, and any aspect of your life in terms of creativity. So do join me again tomorrow. And don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. All right. Thank you very much and have a great evening. Take care. Bye.